Today we are going to see the characteristics of the age of Dryden. The Stuart Restoration was followed by an immense change in the general temper of the English people. A sweeping reaction against Puritanism set in. The court of Charles II was the most shameless England has ever known. Infidelity and profligacy became fashionable. The moral ideas of Puritanism were turned into jest. The spirit of corruption spread far and wide, but piety and goodness were cherished among individuals. The general lowering of the moral tone was everywhere apparent. Literature is a social product and inevitably reflects the life of the era out of which it springs. Hence, the literature of the age of Dryden was openly corrupt, though it had many admirable qualities. It was generally wanting in moral strength and spiritual fervor. Real earnestness and purpose had passed away. The thoughts of men no longer scaled the heights. Literature stopped to soar and became pedestrian. In the new period, literature was intellectual rather than imaginative or emotional. It was brilliant yet unsympathetic. It is true that poetry became prosaic. It was made to do the work of prose and judged by the standards of prose. The poet did not allow his thoughts to wander off with Spenser into fairyland or to explore with John Milton the mysteries of heaven and hell. The verse became the vehicle of argument, controversy, personal and political satire, and thus the era of the versified pamphlet began. The men of the Restoration were the real creators of our modern English prose. France exerted the direct and powerful influence on literature, and the supremacy of Italy had passed away, and France became the world's greatest center of taste. French ideas of art The contemporary literature of France was characterized by lucidity, vivacity, correctness, elegance, and finish. It was essentially a literature of polite society and had all the merits and limitations of a good literature. It was that English writers learned to look for guidance. Even in verse, regularity and order and the spirit of good sense were cultivated at the expense of feeling and spontaneity, and the growth of an artificial type of poetry was the inevitable result.